Fargard 6. 1 through 9. How long the earth remains unclean when defiled by the dead. 10 through 25. Penalties for defiling the ground with dead matter. 26 through 41. Purification of the different sorts of water when defiled by the dead. 42 and 43. Purification of the ha'am. 44 to 51. The place for corpses. The dogmas. So we start part 1 here, which compromises 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 10, 12, 13, and 15 in his numbering. One. How long shall the ground lie fallow, whereon dogs or men have died? Ahura answered, A year long shall the ground lie fallow, whereon dogs or men have died, O holy Zarathustra. 3. A year long shall no worshipper of Mazda sow or water that part of the ground whereon dogs or men have died. He may sow as he likes the rest of the ground, he may water as he likes. And the comment says, to the water which they pour out, to the earth which they plow, to the plants which they sow. So are they pouring a water offering onto the ground? 5. If within a year they shall sow or water the ground whereon dogs or men have died, the sin is the same as if they had brought dead matter to the water, to the earth, and to the plants. 7. O Maker of the material world, thou Holy One, if the worshippers of Mazda shall sow or water within the year the ground whereon the dogs or men have died, what is the penalty that they shall pay? 9. Ahura Mazda answered, They are Peshutanus, 200 stripes with the Aspaha Astra, 200 stripes with the Sra'asho Karana. If they plow or sow it, 1 Tanafuher. If they pour water on it, 1 Tanafuher. If they plow, sow, or water it, 2 Tanafuher. 10. O Maker of the material world, thou Holy One, if worshippers of Mazda want to make the ground fit to be tilled again, that they may water it, sow it, and plow it, what shall they do? 12. Ahura Mazda answered, They shall look on the ground for any bones, hair, flesh, dung, or blood that may be there. Even if a year's space is past, the ground is not free, by default. 13. O Maker of the material world, thou Holy One, if they shall not look on the ground for any bones, hair, flesh, dung, or blood that may be there, what is the penalty that they shall pay? 15. Ahura Mazda answered, Ar Peshotanus, 200 stripes with the Aspaha Astra, 200 stripes with the Sra'asho Karana. Part 2 compromises what he calls 16, 18, 20, 24, 25, 29, 30, 34, 35, 39, 40, 44, 45, 49, 50, and 53. 16. O Maker of the material world, thou Holy One, if a man shall throw on the ground a bone of a dead dog or of a dead man as large as the top joint of the little finger, and if grease or marrow flow from it onto the ground, what penalty shall he pay? 18. Ahura Mazda answered, 30 stripes with the Aspaha Astra, 30 stripes with the Sra'asho Karana. 20. O Maker of the material world, thou Holy One, if a man shall throw on the ground a bone of a dead dog or of a dead man as large as the top joint of a forefinger, and if grease or marrow flow from it onto the ground, what penalty shall he pay? 24. Ahura Mazda answered, 50 stripes with the Aspaha Astra, 50 stripes with the Sra'asho Karana. 25. O Maker of the material world, Thou Holy One, if a man shall throw on the ground a bone of a dead dog, or of a man, or of a dead man, as large as the top joint of the middle finger, and if grease or marrow flow from it on the ground, what penalty shall he pay? 29. Ahura Mazda answered, 70 stripes with the Aspaha Astra, 70 stripes with the Asho Karana. 30. O Maker of the material world, thou Holy One, if a man shall throw on the ground a bone of a dead dog or of a dead man as large as a finger or as a rib, and if grease or marrow flow from it on the ground, what penalty shall he pay? 34. Ahura Mazda answered, 90 stripes with the Aspaha Astra, 90 stripes with the Asho Karana. 35. O Maker of the material world, thou Holy One, if a man shall throw on the ground a bone of a dead dog or of a dead man as large as 2 fingers or as 2 ribs, and if grease or marrow flow from it onto the ground, what penalty shall he pay? 39. Ahura Mazda answered, he is a Peshotanu, 200 stripes with the Aspaha Astra, 200 stripes with the Asho Karana. 40. O Maker of the material world, thou Holy One, if a man shall throw on the ground a bone of a dead dog or of a dead man as large as an arm bone or as a thigh bone, and if grease or marrow flow from it onto the ground, what penalty shall he pay? 44. Ahura Mazda answered, 400 stripes with the Aspaha Astra, 400 stripes with the Asho Karana. 45. O Maker of the material world, thou Holy One, if a man shall throw on the ground a bone of a dead dog or of a dead man as large as a man's skull, and if grease or marrow flow from it onto the ground, what penalty shall he pay? 49. Ahura Mazda answered, 600 stripes with the Aspaha Astra, 600 stripes with the Asho Karana. 50. O Maker of the material world, thou Holy One, if a man shall throw on the ground the whole body of a dead dog or of a dead man, and if grease or marrow flow from it onto the ground, what penalty shall he pay? 53. Ahura Mazda answered, 1,000 stripes with the Aspaha Astra, 1,000 stripes with the Asho Karana. 3 compromises what he's calling 54, 56, 61, 63, 65, 66, 69, 72, 73, 73. So 73 is both 34 and 35, which isn't the usual thing. Usually, if he's, it's more, well, not usual. More commonly, he gives more numbers to things, but only one, okay? 74, 75, 78, 79, 80, and 83. 54. O Maker of the material world, thou Holy One, and if a worshipper of Mazda, walking or running or riding or driving, come upon a corpse in a stream of running water, what shall he do? 36. Ahura Mazda answered, taking off his shoes, putting off his clothes, boldly, O Zarathustra, he shall enter the river and take the dead out of the water. He shall go down into the water, ankle deep, knee deep, waist deep, or a man's full depth, till he can reach the dead body. And the commentary of 27 says, if he is able to draw out the corpse and does so, it is a pious deed worth a tanafuhr, that is, one by which a tanafuhr sin can be cancelled. If he is able to draw it out and does not do so, it is a tanafuhr sin. Guru Sasip says, it is a Margarzan sin, a capital crime. 61. O Maker of the material world, thou Holy One, if, however, the body be already falling to pieces and rotting, what shall the worshipper of Mazda do? 63. Ahura Mazda answered, he shall draw out of the water as much of the corpse as he can grasp with both hands, and he shall lay it down on the dry ground. No sin attaches to him for any bone, hair, grease, flesh, dung, or blood that may drop back into the water. 65. O Maker of the material world, thou Holy One, what part of the water in a pond does the Dargnasu defile with infection, pollution, and uncleanliness? 66. Ahura Mazda answered, 6 steps on each of the 4 sides, as long as the corpse has not been taken out of the water, so long shall that water be unclean and unfit to drink. They shall therefore take the corpse out of the pond and lay it down on the ground. Now, one of the things that we have nowadays is we got to be very careful in terms of, the police and all that. So we just, you come across a dead body, even if it's, or you think it might be a dead body, you may phone the authorities before, because you may not want your prints on it or something. 69. And of the water they shall draw off the half, or the third, or the fourth, or the fifth part, according as they are able, and after the corpse has been taken out and the water has been drawn off, the rest of the water is clean, and both cattle of men may drink of it at their pleasure, as before. 72. O Maker of the material world, thou Holy One, what part of the water in a well does the Drognasu defile with infection, pollution, and uncleanliness? 73. Ahura Mazda answered, as long as the corpse has not been taken out of the water, so long shall that water be unclean and unfit to drink. They shall therefore take the corpse out of the well and lay it down on the ground. And the comment for 34 says, all the water in the well is unclean, as well has the length and breadth of a man's stature. And 35, which is also listed as 73, and of the water in the well they shall draw off the half, or the third, or the fourth, or the fifth part, according as they are able, and after the corpse has been taken out, and the water has been drawn off, the rest of the water is clean, and both cattle and men may drink of it at their pleasure as before. 74. O Maker of the material world, thou Holy One, part of the sheet of snow are hailed as the Drognasu defile with infection, pollution, and uncleanness. 75. Ahura Mazda answered, 3 steps on each of the 4 sides. As long as the corpse has not been taken out of the water, so long shall that water be unclean and unfit to drink. They shall therefore take the corpse out of the water and lay it down on the dry ground. 78. After the corpse has been taken out, and the snow or the hail has melted, the water is clean, and both the cattle and men may drink of it at their pleasure as before. 79. O Maker of the material world, thou Holy One, what part of the water of a running does the Drognasu defile with infection, pollution, and uncleanliness? 80. Ahura Mazda answered, 3 steps down the stream, 9 steps up the stream, 6 steps across, as long as the corpse has not been taken out of the water, so long shall the water be unclean and unfit to drink. They shall therefore take the corpse out of the water and lay it down on the dry ground. 83. After the corpse has been taken out of, and the stream has flowed 3 times, the water is clean, and both cattle and men may drink of it at their pleasure as before. You see a similar mention of the waiting period of women. But 3 times, when 3 waves have passed, I guess is what they say. So we have 4, which compromises what he calls 84, 85, 92, 93, 95, 98, 100, 101, 102, 105. 84. O Maker of the material world, thou Holy One, can the ha'ama that has been touched by the corpse of a dead dog or the corpse of a dead man be made clean again? 85. Ahura Mazda answered, it can, O Holy Zarathustra. If it has been strained for the sacrifice, no corpse that has been brought unto it makes corruption or death enter it. If it has not been strained for the sacrifice, the stem is defiled, the length of 4 fingers, that length of stem shall be buried in the ground and in the middle of the house for a year long. When the year is past, the faithful may drink of its juice at their pleasure as before. And 92, not every number covered to 105 is actually part 5, and 42 and 40. Oh, I guess this, it's been, we're 39, 40, 41, 42, 40. Wait, that's not right. So 42, 43 instead of 40. Okay. Because the hauma is the plant of life. When strained for the sacrifice, it is the king of healing plants. The dead shall become immortal by tasting of the white haoma and mixing milk with it. But the opium sap is also white, so some people would say that the white is because of that, or because of some mushroom juice or something that's added to it. Haoma can, just like soma, possibly be a reference to intoxicating plants that are used for healing and ritual. 92. O Maker of the material world, thou Holy One, whither shall we lay the bodies of the dead, O Ahura Mazda? 93. Ahura Mazda answered, on the highest summits, where they know there are always corpse-eating dogs and corpse-eating birds, O holy Zarathustra. 95. There shall the worshippers of Mazda fasten the corpse, by the feet and by the hair, with brass stones or lead, lest the corpse-eating dogs and the corpse-eating birds shall go and carry the bones to the water and to the trees. 98. If they shall not fasten the corpse, so that the corpse-eating dogs and the corpse-eating birds may go and carry the bones to the water and to the trees, what is the penalty that they shall pay? 100. Ahura Mazda answered, they shall be the Pashutanus, 200 stripes with the Aspaha Astra, 200 stripes with the Sra'asho Karana. 101. O Maker of the material world, thou Holy One, whither shall we lay the bones of the dead, O Ahura Mazda? 102. Ahura Mazda answered, the worshippers of Mazda shall erect a building out of the reach of the dog, of the fox, and of the wolf, and whereof rainwater cannot stay. 105. Such a building shall they erect, if they can afford it, with stones, mortar, and earth. If they cannot afford it, they shall lay down the dead man on the ground, on his carpet and his pillow, clothed with the light of heaven, and beholding the sun. So, the highest summits is the tops of the mountains. The clauses relating to the Holy One refer to the place where the corpse must be laid. Before the calling on the Holy One, the places being mentioned here are the places where the corpse must be laid, and the following 49 to 51 refer to the building which must be erected at that place, if possible, to receive the corpse. And then we have mention of the dogma, and also that the rainwater that washes away the remains of corpses must not remain on the dogmas, but is brought out through trenches dug for that purpose. And there's a lot of black magic teachings about such drainage ditches and not black magic. That's the wrong word, because not all necromancy is black magic. But a lot of evil magic practices involve running the runoff of cemeteries and stuff like that.